And
that's enough for me.
and you see coming from the north, there's what looks to be a long kind of convoy of freighters that seem to be just kind of traveling through the dust and dirt, and they all seem to be carrying large containers. And there's nowhere really to land. There's no landing pads here. Mm-hmm. This is rural as it gets. As far as like they don't expect it, and you kind of doing a little circle around. You see, like, on the kind of western side of town, there's flats enough, and you think it'll be good, at least for the meantime, to land. So you...
Start piling out of the ship and heading towards my shop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you guys step out of the ship, and it's like it's a weird feeling, seeing a place that you haven't seen. I don't know how long.
Years.
I guess over 5 years.
It's a dusty motherfucker.
There's the traditional kind of dusty, hard, built, but very strong-willed sort of like atmosphere of Acatonian settlements. That is distinctly absent as you guys land. You see the occasional person kind of walking, drudgingly. It's particularly windy up in this area, but everybody has kind of their heads like down, like shielding themselves from the elements. And you guys head off towards the mechanical section of Estuar. You head down the dusty kind of avenues, and eventually, your feet almost seem to lead you before you're even thinking about it. You seem to walk kind of the old steps that you used to, or at least you remember, and you get to the kind of end of a dead-end street, and you turn, and there's just ruins. You're like, wait, there was a building here. It was my building. Why is it not there? You just see like the jagged kind of like parts of framework. You see like, one or two people that seem to be, kind of looking at parts of it and, measuring it out. And you see like they have like kind of like a little lift, like on a very kind of broken sort of like almost, 4-wheel kind of cart with some scrap metal on it.
I'm just standing, staring, like my little scarf is falling out. Like,
was it freshly fucked up, or has it been that way?
Perception check.
Okay.
I really got used to that.
No. Is it 18?
No.
Wasn't fresh, you're saying?
This is, whatever occurred to this building, it doesn't seem fresh at all.
Okay.
And we'll take a little break. All right, so we're back. And we are picking up where we left off with the very kind of stark viewscape of the kind of picked over, very visibly scavenged remains of the building you once knew as your own.
I'm still just...
You guys...
So what's this, guys?
Yeah, I was going to say...
shot? Like, goggles are down.
You just see the bare frame of, what appears to be like maybe a 2-story building.
Just kind of looking at it, and I fucking look down at Tet and throw a little hand on his little Schulte boy, and it's like, what the fuck
And
happened?
then I'd say it's that at that point that he touches me, I actually just like look up and I'm like, what's happening?
I don't know, bud. We haven't been here for years, I guess.
And you see
That's what happens.
very kind of broken remains of the door frame is, just kind of there. The doors are no longer there. It's just kind of a shattered kind of like door frame.
Is there like rubble of
No.
or is there? Can I like go into
The broken kind of outside of the like outside walls are like half broken, half kind of taken apart. Like there's just the like corner pieces, like the back wall you can see probably is like caved in somewhere, but I mean it's not like you can't enter. It's like think of it as there's no roof. Like somebody took a jagged kind of like tearing off like a can of fucking sardines, except they bear pawed the top of it off, so it's all like jagged.
I'm just gonna like wander inside and just be like looking around. How much is left inside? Like, are there still like any furniture or anything like that? Or
No. As you walk in, it seems like a lot of the broken remains of like ships that you might see out in the deserts. It's picked clean. Like it's rusted frame. Perception check as you're walking in here.
12.
12? Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of sifting through, like, there's like sand, kind of miniature dunes, kind of blown in, getting caught in some of the remains. You're kind of pushing through, seeing if there's anything to find. Not really seeing anything. As you're walking through, I mean, it's pretty jarring and very kind of system shock, really. You know,
Finally we'd be comfortable somewhere. We're finally getting somewhere we knew.
I had personal stuff here.
you're digging through.
It wasn't just...
You remember the layout. This is like the main shop area. And there's a hallway. I remember like there down the end of it is my room. These are kind of the things that are running through your head.
And I just kind of absently just go and like walk into what my room would have been.
Yeah, and at this point, it's like you're getting to the end of the hall, and it's like the stud, kind of metal stud equivalents of like a door frame. There's no top to it, but you just kind of like walk in, and you're like looking around, just kind of standing there. You guys can see him. I mean, it's kind of weird because you see him like walking what appears to be kind of a hallway, but like or the remains of one, but you're like standing kind of near the entrance, and you can see him visibly, like in the room that he like walked into, like the back section of the place.
Is he gonna be okay?
Give him time.
I mean, was this like his place, like his home?
It was his home, it was his business, it was his hangout, it was everything.
Yeah, we have been asleep for
5 years, something like that.
something like that.
Yeah, so and any number of things could have occurred in that time, and knowing the Yosoki, you can get a chance to go pick something clean, they'll do it. Whether it was them after some shit happened, or if somebody came in and swiped her wholesale, something.
Do you think Ted's gonna be okay, or is he gonna lash out?
It's too early to tell. We'll see. I mean, he'll be fine if you give him some time, but there's a lot of shit here. A lot of shit.
And there's the as you're walking in, there's kind of the jagged portion of a wall, and you see like the remains of a half broken shelf. You kind of run your hands along it, and you see like there's mixture of dust and rust along it, and you kind of without really seeing anywhere, it's I used to do things here. I used to make stuff, break things, put them back together, and this is where this was mine. These are the things that are kind of running through your mind, and you kind of it's starting to get there's like this sort of like kind of building of kind of pressure, like what happened? This is mine. Why is it like this? It's really starting to get kind of like hard to really process, and it's more starting to kind of, well, I guess you'd best be able to describe how he would feel.
I'm just gonna unholster my laser pistol. My goggles are still down. I'm just gonna walk out of the room. Just lean on the wall, face those guys. Just pistol in the hand, kind of just like keep thumbing the hill.
Safety?
Nope. Just keep kind of just thumbing the grip here.
And he's been kind of
Tails kind of just like
softly
softly.
walking around, like looking at stuff. But you see Buzz now, kind of like getting. He like steps a little bit closer, and he's like, "Yeah, I know how this looks, boss, but let's just let's try and stay collected here, okay? I'm home too.
Buzz, activate John McClane protocols.
Who's that?
Boss, I don't know.
Best Christmas movie ever.
I feel like we just need to take a moment and like process first before.
Command override.
And you see him just kind of stand up, and he's like just very standing straight.
So you
John McClane protocols.
Sure you want to go this way?
It's basically just like
You're gonna have to tell me what that means.
It's
man, 'cause
basically
I have no
I'm
idea.
basically-
66.
yeah, I'm basically just telling him like, all right, we're getting into fucking serious mode now. Like, I'm telling him more of like it's time to switch over to less being just your everyday Buzz, and you're now like henchman Buzz, where you're like it's less about like talking and socializing and stuff, and it's more just about like doing processing. I'm basically just shutting down like his social functions for the most part, and just making him like more of
Is
a
the gun built in to his hand, or
For his new rubble.
There's a weapon mount, so yeah, I guess it would just be like mounted like on his upper like forearm, I guess.
okay? But it's a laser pistol, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you see him straighten out. You see Buzz like lift up his arm. You see him just tap. You see like the laser pistol's like ammunition rack kind of pop out. He kind of spins it, looks at it really quick. Kind of puts his arm back down.
He also has a brand new dueling sword.
Yep. and he kind of pulls that. He kind of you see him kind of coming out of his. I guess I don't even
It's
know.
just a melee weapon arm, is what it says for the mod. So I don't know how you want to.
Think of it as like
a wrist
the Human Revolution kind of like blade, except it's on the underside and not the top. So his hand kind of like his hand kind of like rotates back and like grips the back of his arm, and then you see like coming out of the end of where his wrist would be, you see just a very long blade, like of just dark kind of amber metal, and it kind of you see him look at it, and you see him just like give like two quick cuts in the air, and just and he like kind of stands now, goes out and like stands outside.